After episode 4 set up an epic fight between May's evil master and a group of Jedi, this new chapter will have to deliver on that promise. Will it rise to the challenge or underdeliver? Hi there, it's Micha. Join me if you like to find out. We catch up with Osha awaking from being unconscious after May's master pushed her aside. For a moment there I thought we were cheated out of seeing the fight and only get the aftermath. But no worries, there are still plenty of lightsaber duels ahead. After the big bad killed most of the Jedi and is about to also off Yord, Osha hits him with a blast set to stun, to virtually no effect, besides attracting his attention, making him go after Osha. Throwing his weapon at her, Osha is saved by Sol, who steps out of the woods and orders Yord to take Osha back to the ship.
Civilian to the ship!
As she is a civilian, and according to Jedi rules, her protection is of the highest priority.
Civilian to the ship!
While Sol fights the evil one, Jackie is engaging May in a fight trying to arrest her. After subduing her, the bad guy who left the fight with Sol to go after May attacks the young Padawan, who managed to impressively stand her ground. Meanwhile, Osha convinced Yord to turn around and help their team, which she plans to do by utilizing those ill-tempered giant bugs who are attracted by light.
Follow me. Run!
Jackie is then joined by Sol and even manages to smash the villain's mask. A maneuver that, however, cost her dearly.
No!
Thereby revealing the villain's identity to be, surprise, Kamir, who is then attacked by Sol in a pretty revealing fashion.
You really didn't know it was me. Not even deep down? You attacked me while my back is turned? Not very Jedi of you.
And he reveals his motivation.
What do you want?
The freedom to wield my power the way I like, without having to answer to Jedi like you.
But he now has to kill everyone for one simple reason.
They see my face, they all die.
This is when Osha and Yord catch up with them, which for the latter resulted in his demise. During the final standoff, more revealing facts come to light, like Sol being willing to kill the unarmed Kamir and is only stopped by Osha.
Sol!
And there is another important call-out.
You trust him? Even after everything he did to you?
Soon after, the bugs arrive, and as Osha sticks a light to Kamir, he is carried away by the critters. Next, May stuns Sol with a blaster, and the sisters finally talk, while Osha still putting the Jedi above May.
The Jedi got what they deserved. Those Jedi were more my family than you ever were. They invaded our home. You started that fire. And I would have been dead too if it weren't for the Jedi. They've brainwashed you. They've turned you against me. I love you. Don't choose them again.
However, Osha still wants to turn May in, and after a short altercation, Osha is unconscious. So May shortened her hair to Osha's length and takes her place, returning to the ship with Sol, with only the tracker being suspicious. The episode ends with Kamir finding Osha, without any aggressions toward her.
Even in the revelation of our triumph, you see the depth of our despair.
Well, that was a surprising one. I mean, not the fact that Kamir was behind the mask. I pretty much called that in my last review, as it was kinda obvious, even though they implied in this chapter that the twins' mother may be under that disguise.
He gets into your head and he stays there.
My mother could do that.
But since they revealed his identity just one episode later anyway, I feel that being so obvious before was totally fine. Quick side note, While watching the episode, my internet cut out for a minute. You guessed it, right at that moment when we were about to see the villain's face. Couldn't have happened in a worse moment. But back to business. What I'm talking about regarding surprises is how boldly the show just killed off a whole group of Jedi, including two main characters, Jackie and Yord. When the former engaged in her fight with Kamir, I was already fearing that might happen, while I wouldn't have thought that they would off another one on top of that. Though I guess Yord won't be missed as much as Jackie will be. This chapter was truly action heavy and gave us many solid lightsaber duels, if that is even the right word, as often more than two parties were crossing swords here. Some of the usual tropes were present though, like Jackie and May duking it out without May even trying to say that she didn't kill Kel Naka and actually wanted to turn herself in. Then there was the mystery of Jedi having to deal with their lightsabers malfunctioning. Was Kamir affecting them? Was it the pollen that was prominently shown many times for, as of yet, no apparent reason? Or was this just the Jedi equivalent of erectile dysfunction? Jackie apparently was not as impacted by that as others, so let's see if they offer an explanation along the way. It was interesting that Osha stopped Saul from killing Kamir but later planted a light on him, risking his death by bug attack. But as she is a civilian, as pointed out a lot in this episode, she doesn't have to play by Jedi rules. So it was more about saving Saul's integrity than about Kamir's life. But talking about his integrity...
What master hides his face from his pupil?
You tell me.
There were many allusions in this chapter about the Jedi, especially Saul, lying about what happened on the sisters' homeworld. Seems like the oh-so-pristine Jedi are not always squeaky clean. Something that Osha still can't even contemplate, not even when her sister suggested that. The big thing to talk about though is Kamir saying that Jedi would call him Sith. That likely will send the fandom into a tailspin, again. Maybe I will do a separate video about all the things fans were getting nuts over, we will see.
What are you?
I have no name, but a Jedi like you might call me Sith.
Here we will likely hear that it is canon that there were no Siths for at least a millennium before Palpatine entered the scene, which will be in about 100 years. To that I just say, that is the marvel of creative writing, as just because no one heard of something doesn't mean it never happened. If all Jedi who have seen his face are dead, and as the core Jedi group, as we know, keeps things under wraps, no one will be the wiser. Problem solved. I actually prefer clever writing like this. If there is a flaw, we will see at the end of a show, but so far I'm just going along with that notion. More interesting to me regarding Kamir's motivation is that he says Jedi would call him Sith. He doesn't say he identifies as that, which also could offer another angle to the conundrum we just touched on. He was forced into a corner because he doesn't want to be a Jedi, but be allowed to use the Force the way he chooses, which doesn't have to be something evil. And he wants to teach.
I want a pupil, an acolyte.
But Jedi rules prevent this, and if he is not with them, he is categorized as evil, a Sith. Granted that playing that role doesn't help his case, but his frustration is understandable. He is in a minority that is suppressed by a religious elite, so to speak.
I don't make the rules. The Jedi do. And the Jedi say I can't exist.
Which makes for a compelling villain, who may not just be evil, as it is usually the case. This also shows at the very end of the episode, when he finds Osha. I have to say, in this light, the whole development this chapter has to offer really positively surprised me and got me hooked. Can't wait to see what they make out of this premise, as I really like to see more of the grey areas in stories that usually are clearly black or white. Just hope that they don't screw it up close to the goal line. And with that being said, let's get to the rating. Like I said, the chapter was action heavy and dramatic, as we lost some of our main characters. The villain was revealed, but we also got the clear indication that our heroes are not as heroic as we might have thought. The episode raised some nice moral questions and, at least for me, opened some doors I hope the show and the franchise as a whole will explore a bit further. For that reason, this chapter resonated well with me and I'm rating it with 9 out of 10 points. They set up a lot, and if they don't mess up all the potential they laid open, this could end up being the best Star Wars show on Disney Plus so far, even though many may disagree. But that is why opinions are called opinions and not facts. So everyone is free to disagree with me. What about you? What do you think about the ambiguity in this chapter? Do you like the show, hate it, or slowly come to appreciate it? Whatever you like to share, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share or subscribe. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching. There are still plenty of lightsaber delves ahead. After the big bad killed most of the Jedi, which makes for a compelling villain. During the final standoff, more revealing facts come to light.